are at the Grand Canyon.
It's grand.
And it's a canyon.
And it's beautiful.
And we don't have our kids. This is the first long trip we've had together since Italy, so.
It's been a while.
So we're camping up at the top of the South Rim tonight where it's cold, so we brought our winter gear, and then we'll leave our winter gear in the car, and then we'll hike down tomorrow. We'll be hiking for 4 days.
Yep, 4 days in the canyon. Doing about 28 to 32 miles is what we're predicting.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. It's my bucket list item, one of them, so.
Remember the first time we slept at the top of the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
We camped on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We were pretty much newlyweds. Like, it was within the first 6 months of our marriage, I would say.
Oh yeah, we set up camp at night, so we really didn't see any views. And then when we woke up, it was like, BAM!
Yeah. Forest Ranger was like, oh, just take this side road over here and just put up camp wherever. So we set up camp in the dark. We didn't know. And literally like 100 yards from our tent was the canyon.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, whoa.
Good thing we didn't walk over there to go pee.
I think I did, and just didn't realize it.
And didn't fall.
I didn't fall. I didn't die, so moral of the story, don't die. Hey, babe.
Cool big lizard.
Happened to.
Bam.
Dad went the other way.
And now he's got a better viewpoint.
How was that way to go, Elise? I don't know about this. I see a place I can put my foot just because I have long legs.
Nice spot.
Yeah, I couldn't leave this without trying it out.
Hang on, nice rock right there. Beautiful view. Let's see the view. Yeah, that's a nice spot right there.
Yeah. Ah.
So this is supposed to be the most primitive trail in the Grand Canyon, and we're beginning to see why. And it's definitely a pretty extreme backpacking hike. It's, yeah, a lot of work.
Look at us. Whew. We were up there.
Yeah. Going down.
Oh, hi.
We're all set up. We'll sleep under the stars. Let's see if I can get any stars in the video. Day 2 of hiking. Luckily we have only 1 hour of this. 1 mile. It's probably gonna take us more than an hour. Look what we have here.
Water. I love the water.
Oh, that looks so inviting,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's hot enough out here no matter what.
This is the peak that looked like it was in the middle of nowhere yesterday. Crazy.
Look at this waterfall.
And it's cool.
Check out the snake. Oh, I want to pick you up.
I know, right?
You can. It's not a poisonous snake. Look how he slides up that mountain.
Cool that you can do that.
I'm envious of you. Slithering away. You made it!
We made it to the Colorado River, finally.
To the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The water is moving.
We found our spot. Nice and chilly.
Go for it.
I don't know if I can go deeper than this.
Oh, wow, that was cold, cold, cold.
Woo! Chris is in. And my feet are freezing. Oh my gosh. Can't feel them. So this was my bucket list, on my bucket list, and making it to the bottom of the Grand Canyon backpacking was the specifics of my bucket list item, and I've made it! So this is quite the exciting moment, and my feet are in. I'm not going any deeper than that. It's crazy how hot it is outside, but how freezing it is in the water. Oh my gosh.
You got this.
Up to here, that was my commitment. That is all I can do. Oh.
Standing in the sand. At Hermit Rapids. Can't really tell in this video, but there's some pretty roaring rapids. Tell us, what are you seeing here?
It just looks like broken glass, but it's like parts of the rock.
You see if I can get some of it to shimmer for us.
Look at this one. Is it showing up?
Not really.
Yeah. Here's a little piece.
Look how like. Yeah. And there's big chunks of it.
He's going for it.
Yeah! Look at the fish! So cool!
You gonna jump in?
So.
We made it to the top. This top. There's more top. The sun is rising. The top of Cathedral Stairs.
What?
So Doug is the sax player in our band. You may recognize him from that. And he was the one that planned this whole trip. And we're very grateful for him for staying on the phone to make the reservations and all of that fun stuff. So he knows the trail. How many times have you done this, the Grand Canyon?
It's 14 times.
This was 14, but you haven't done the trail specifically that we did, correct?
It's the first time I've done Boucher.
Boucher, which I will never do again.
And had I known it was this difficult, I wouldn't have said yes to it. Now, I didn't suggest Boucher, the Rangers did.
Yeah.
I wanted to do Hermit down and then back to here and then Hermit out. But they didn't have any reservations on the day that they planned, so they said, well, how about you do Boucher? And I said, okay. And then they said, well, it's really difficult. And I says, well, I have experienced hikers with me, so.
Yes, and it turns out that he is the most experienced out of all of us, and he thought he was going to be the slowest. He was the fastest.
Well, not really. Chris was.
Well, yeah, technically Chris was.
Let's start with the South Rim, okay?
Yeah, South Rim is what we did.
First of all, I've never hiked the major trails like Bright Angel, South and North Kaibab, which is now called something different.
And aren't those the ones
it's
that
called the Arizona Trail?
Aren't those more busy with people? And
Those are
just,
busy, and I don't like busy, so I've always taken secondary and tertiary trails. Actually, Hermit is my favorite trail on the South Rim because it's not as difficult as they will see on the way out. It's pretty mild.
And how many times have you done Hermit?
This is the 4th time I'll be on Hermit.
Okay.
Except that the other 3 times I went down and up. So I didn't do any loops. So it's my favorite because of ease, and it's a good starting point for somebody.
Yeah.
My second favorite I've done twice, and that's South Bass. I like South Bass because although it's long, it's like 12 and a half miles. It's remote. You have to, it actually, you don't go through Grand Canyon to get to the South Bass Trailhead. You have to go across the Indian Reservation, so you have to reserve Well, you have to get a permit to travel across their land before you get to that. So that's actually, you end up having to get two permits, one from cross-country reservations and one from, I guess it's the Yavapai Indians, I guess.
Of all of the trails on the South Rim, would you say that is the best views?
No, I actually think Hermit has better views than the Bass, but
Okay.
the Bass views are great. There's no doubt about it. Jennifer said, the ranger, that this group would have been better suited for, not Kaibab, what was the other? Bright Angel.
Bright Angel.
And I also haven't done Havasupai. So, but again, I prefer
It's very busy.
the
Is
trails.
Havasupai even allowed right now?
It wasn't allowed when I made reservations.
Okay.
And that's why, and my original intention was South Bass, or either South Bass or Hermit. But I couldn't get a reservation for South Bass because the Havasupai Indian reservations was not accepting people going across their land because of COVID.
Okay.
On the North Rim,
North Rim time.
Nankoweap is very similar in terms of level of difficulty to the one we just did, which is Boucher. I'm not going to say
Which is
too
challenging.
much. Yeah, Boucher was very challenging because of two things. Number one is they were steep, and also there were a lot of ups and downs. The most difficult trail I've done on the North Rim is Nankoweap, and there's some danger spots there. 4 sets of switchbacks, and and then there's some risky areas where it drops straight down, and you have a very narrow edge that you have to hike on.
Oh.
So it's not for the faint of heart to do Nankoweap. Just by way of virtue or description, the 4 of us, when we did Nankoweap, we renamed it Mango Weep. The other 2 trails I've done on the North Rim are actually 2 of my favorite trails. One is Thunder River, and I think Thunder River is around 14 miles, and it has some significant switchbacks. I think there's at least 3. The real nice feature about that is there's about a 75-foot waterfall.
Ooh.
And the trail goes right next to the top of that water, near the top of that waterfall. So when you get down just a little bit coming down that set of switchbacks, it might be 100 degrees, and you just slide over there near the waterfall, and it's like 70 degrees. Going back, now we're on South Bass. I really like South Bass. It's lengthy, but it's not terribly difficult. And the thing about it is there's a lot of shade cover. You're going through what appears to be orchards of trees and that kind of stuff. And once you get down to it, there's all kinds of... I always had the feeling that if there was ever some sort of nuclear disaster and that kind of stuff, this would be a good place to go. Because you could come down on the trail, and as you get to the bottom, you could take any one of these tributary of waters and go up there, and there were fish.
Yeah.
And it really was a pleasurable experience. It's hard to say whether I would North Bass or Thunder River are my favorites because they each had different elements that I really enjoyed.
Can you explain the pass that we took yesterday, 2 days ago, when we started on our way down? What were our trails?
Well, we started at Hermit's Rest. We came down the first 2.5 miles of Hermit Trail, and then we went on Dripping Springs Trail, and then we went over to Butcher Trail. And we actually spent the night at the top of the last set of switchbacks before we go into Tonto. And it's said, and we never did make it to Boucher Creek, and it's said that that's 9.3 miles, but
our Lisa's GPS said differently. It said
Yeah.
we did a lot more than that.
Oh yeah.
And even coming across Tonto, it was only supposed to be 4.8 miles, and it certainly was longer than 4.8 miles. I don't, maybe they do this by the way the crow flies or something like that. So at any hike that you're going to do here, I would suggest that you anticipate that you're going to do more than the mileage indicated on here.
Yes, and have enough water for that.
Yes.
And so I hear that this is possibly your last Grand Canyon hike. Is that what you're still thinking?
Well, I don't know. I told Chris that if I was able to lose enough weight, I would continue to do that, because I'm carrying 40 pounds of excess weight in addition to my 30-pound pack. If I can reduce that, if I can lose 30 pounds, then I would be happy to do some more. I mean, it's once you get down here, it's just wonderful.
Oh,
just looking out at the scenery right here, I mean, you can just see it on the
behind us.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's no place in the world like the Grand Canyon, and I've been all over the world, so
He has.
I know.
Of the two, North and South Rim, which one would you say has the better views of the trails you've done?
The views are great anywhere in the Grand Canyon, as you can see when we crossed Tonto. Everywhere you went, there was fantastic views.
So pretty. It was just really hot.
So you're going to see things from a different perspective from the North Rim, particularly because you're 2,000 feet higher in elevation. So every trail up there is longer than the ones down here. Here you're looking at 8 to 12, 13 miles, but up there, you start at about 12 miles and then you go up to 16 miles.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. And Lisa, I wanted to ask you, how many miles total have we done so far? We definitely know it was more than we had anticipated. We'll have to calculate it and get back to you on that. Well, thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.